Real quick, before we jump into this video, make sure you guys head over to workforapparel.com. We've got a bunch of new shirt designs, including one that follows the theme of this video, which is the super sweet mini truck finally made its way onto a shirt. Head on over to workforapparel.com. Let's roll to this video.
Oh, you got the strap on there still.
Oh, crap. Totally forgot we had that little safety strap in there. Well, now safety's getting in the way. James, you alive, buddy? All right, all right.
You see this, you're gonna be like,
Uh-oh. Oh, jeez.
If this hadn't caught right here, I think this light would have gone adios, or it would put a nice little...
Oh, yeah.
Well, we got a lot of room here to work now that the bed is off, and looking at the bed, there are these little bushings that they use inside of the 2x2, and I was kind of worried about having to try to find those short notice, but it looks like these survive. So what I think the plan on the bed is I'm going to weld some plates on the side here to basically give me a thicker sidewall. Then we'll re-drill these holes, repress these bushings in, and then I'm going to weld a cap on the back to hopefully never have this happen again. Obviously both sides did the exact same thing, same failure point. But if you look right there, they literally drilled these holes so close to the end that you had like less than 1/8 inch of material there to really hold those bushings in and hold all that pressure of that being a hinge. Now looking at this side over here, this main cross member where the hydraulic ram attaches to is obviously bent and tweaked. Well, they already have the geometry figured out to where that pivot point is and where that ram needs to be to make this thing work. I don't know how much slop or play we have in that, so I don't want to mess with cutting all this out and trying to re-guess where that went. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to straighten this, put it back where it was. Obviously, this piece of 2x did not survive and needs to get cut out. But I think if we can get this back to straight, we'll cut this piece out, weld in a new piece of 2x, and we'll gusset the crap out of this cross member, going off of my hitch setup. Probably put some gussets from the frame there, and then that should strengthen everything. We're gonna end up cutting this piece off because it's not really doing a whole lot of anything. And then, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully we can get it back to straight-ish. Ooh, she was under some tension.
Because we can do it, I mean, you can do it this way too, just...
That might work better.
Just twisting it the same way.
I don't know, James, you think it's gonna be big enough?
Hopefully.
we might need the bottle for that.
She's still a little warm. We have upgraded away from the monkey wrench there. I know the other one didn't like being sideways.
Nope.
Pick the whole truck up. I don't know if we can wedge something there enough for that spreader to spread.
So I don't think this thing weighs enough. Like even if we were to back this up here and use that, and we like pushed on it.
Oh, no way, yeah.
I think it just pushed the truck
The parking
forward.
brake was fully engaged and you were dragging it back when you were just lowering the, the bed. Back to the He-Man ways. All right, we got a couple of wrenches to stand on here.
We tried being technical.
Yeah, it didn't work. While you're doing that eyeball straight. Hopefully we don't go too far.
I was gonna have to heat both sides up.
What's that?
I gotta heat both sides up.
Yeah.
Starting to go.
So we've got it about as straight as she's gonna get. Obviously there's a big bulge in the middle there, but that's on that piece of 2x. These are pretty much in line. They've got just a tiny little weird jog to them, but I think that's still gonna work. So I'm gonna try to retain these two pieces coming down. We're just gonna cut off this bottom section of 2x, weld in a new one, and then again, gusset the crap out of it every which way. It's where we don't have to worry about these bending up here. That's the plan. Hopefully that works. Luckily, James is fully stocked here with the Milwaukee tools. Have not used a grinder with a guard on it in years. We'll see. We'll see how we get this in here.
Well, James told me to get out of the way. He's just gonna cut it with a torch. I know I can't cut a straight line with a torch in my all of 3 minutes. You guys have seen my entire torch experience, so we'll see how James does here.
There you go. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cleaned all that steel up down there. Got my handy dandy bandsaw here. We're going to chop this piece of, this is at least 1/4 inch thick stuff here. This is what this thing should have been built out of. So hopefully this alleviates any issues of it not being strong enough, because we are now using some big boy stuff. Okay, so I've got the new cross member cut here. I was also poking around on the bottom of the bed, and I was able to get this bushing kind of back into place. I think we can, you know, hammer that just a hair further there. Welder in place. Obviously I gotta pop this bolt out, but the other one I was able to pull off, get the bolt out. She's a little more free floating, and I should probably find where I put that, because I don't really remember where I set it down at. Oh, there we go. All right, so that is the bushing that went in on the bedside. So clean up those little bits of welds that they had on there. We'll get it back in welded. And then again, we're gonna plate that so it's a lot stronger and put an end cap on it. Right now though, I'm gonna get this welded in. I'm using James's Multimatic 255. So this is the bigger version of the Multimatic 220 that I have in my shop. This thing is pretty freaking heavy duty and awesome. If you guys have not used one of these multi-process welders, you guys are missing out on like the ease of welding. So basically, James's is a little more complicated than mine, but there are like the dumbed down settings, which is what I need, where you set your material thickness there. And when you do that, it changes all the settings. It changes the voltage, it changes the wire feed speed. So you just base that on whatever your thickness is. You got your wire size that you change, and then your material and what gas type you're using. So we're using a MIG mix, but you can also use flux core. Obviously this also switches over to do TIG. That's why he's got an argon bottle right there, and it automatically switches. So if you have your TIG torch set up, all you have to do is hit your TIG pedal and it'll automatically switch gases to start running argon. And then you come back over to your MIG handle, pull the trigger, it'll automatically switch the gas back to your MIG mix. Super, super cool welders, and they make life freaking easy for dum-dums like me. Now I'm very much missing my GoPro head mount here. I don't have that. So we're just trying to make do with the best angles I can get for you guys. I apologize for like setting it there and there and there and there. Well, this thing definitely feels very different than my 220. So I'm not sure what was going on there. It was kind of acting a little bit funny and like blowing the flame out, if the arc out, if that makes sense. I adjusted the gas settings a little bit. Seems like now it's running better. But yeah, those are definitely not welds to write home about. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong with this welder. But it is currently not cooperating, so I'm gonna wait till James comes back. But in the meantime, I'm gonna cut some piece of this plate steel here, and I'm gonna use that as like strapping on the sides here. We're gonna run it on either side of that connection, and it should extra beef that up. And I'm gonna do my best. I know we're reusing this, and this is probably gonna be the entire weakest point of this whole thing, but I think if we can brace off enough of it and brace off of here to there, we're gonna strengthen this thing enough to where we don't really have to worry about it. Me and your welder are not currently getting along. It's almost like it's pulsing when it shouldn't be pulsing. There you go. Sounded a lot better.
I think you like it now.
All right, so I went ahead and yanked out the little lower bracket there. We've got her nice and clamped up here. We're gonna get her fully welded and hope for the best. Hopefully it's in the right spot. We don't really know. Oh, I'm kind of stuck here. Not the dude. Yeah. Okay guys, well yesterday, or well, I guess 2 days ago at this point, yesterday was Thanksgiving, so we're back here today working on the mini truck. Got as far as I can get the other night. It just started getting too cold. And then yesterday we had some gnarly winds come through, and I mean, you can see there's freaking almost a tumbleweed in the shop here. Definitely don't want to do any torching today around that. That's gonna get all burnt up, and then you can see all that dust right there on the ground. That wasn't there. That all blew in yesterday. I mean, just look at this case right here. This thing was pretty clean. And she's not so clean anymore. So it's kind of a good thing I was not here working yesterday, because I'd have just been eating dirt all day. But basically got this entire section done. I grabbed a couple of pieces of 3/4 by 3/4 square stock from my shop. And what I want to do is I want to go straight off of this piece of 2x I put in for my hitch assembly. And I'm going to go straight to this piece of plate. So I'm going to go 1 bar there and 1 bar there. And I think that's really going to strengthen this axis. Let's get a little sweeping done here before we get started today. Get part of the shop cleaned out. It's not easy to do left-handed with one hand. God, I missed my freaking head mount. And James has like a 42-pound solid steel handle here on his broom. All right, let's see what we got in the old Bronco here. Just a couple of scraps that I grabbed from the shop last night. Okay, so don't mind that like nothing's perfectly plumbed up, squared up, level. I've eyeballed a lot of this, cause my luck, I'm gonna end up doing all this work and then the engine's gonna give out. This being like a 1/8 to 1/4 inch out of squared up with the frame isn't really gonna make a difference for all this bracing. So anyways, I'm welding these bars in again, so there'll be a bar there as well as a bar there. Okay guys, so I don't know what's going on and why me and this welder are just not getting along. There's times where it's like welds normal and perfect, and then there's times where it does what I'm about to show you, and it's probably not gonna work now because the camera's recording here, but it'll basically start to weld and then almost like poof itself out, right? And like, it's almost like there's a pulse on where it'll just go stop, stop. Now, I'm no professional welder. However, my welds should look like that, but they're coming out really crappy because me and this thing are just not getting along. I don't understand what's different about it in the settings. I keep turning the wire feed speed up. Maybe it keeps turning itself back down because I keep kicking it up and that seems to make it better, but then it like automatically kicks itself back down. Okay, so that time was not as bad. And now it's probably never gonna be working, and it's probably never gonna do it when I need to demonstrate it, but. All right, maybe right there you guys could have heard that better. Obviously it's kind of hard to show when we're welding here on the GoPro, but I have no clue what's going on with this thing. Alrighty, I think I am pretty much done here on the actual mini truck portion itself. I went ahead and put some plating on the sides of this joint as well. And then over here where this bushing kind of came through, it had torn out just a little bit there. So I filled that back in. I'm not too worried about these bushings because they're so far back from the edge. Whereas on the bed, for some reason, it seems like they were drilled like right there. And they only had a little bit of meat to keep them from ripping out. So I think these ones are okay. I might throw a little bit of a weld right there just to kind of thicken that up. But they are welded from the inside as good as they could weld those. Now we gotta focus on the bed, which this is gonna be the sketchiest part, and honestly I think gonna be the biggest pain in the butt. So I'm gonna lift it up right now and see if we can get underneath there and figure out a game plan. Seems pretty solid. This should be fun. And then I should probably look at, let's see, this is the front mount for the hydraulic ram. This looks pretty stout. Maybe I'll throw a little bit more weld on there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, this is gonna end up being our new weak point if we beef the crap out of everything else that's on the truck, so we might wanna address something on here. I mean, we can always do this later once we get all this put back together. I don't wanna take up too much time in James's shop, and like, obviously, I've eaten up a whole bay here.
Now, if I have not preached it enough on this channel,
The old Milwaukee bandsaw here.
is one of my favorite tools.
I mean, we're one-handed right now cutting through 3/16 or 1/4 inch steel plate here. Super easy. Okay, well, I wasn't exactly thinking this through, so I've had to reevaluate my plan here. Obviously, I cannot weld a plate on this side because it's gonna conflict with that little gap in between the piece of 2x that's on the truck, which goes right here, and that's where it hinges. We can't thicken this up. We could probably try to weld something from the inside. I just don't know if that's gonna be worth the trouble. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna weld a back plate on here, hope for the best that it's not too thick and it'll actually still function, and then just weld the crap out of this bushing on the inside and on the outside.
Oh, and I'm an idiot and screwed up, and my welding helmet's up there.
I bet I could climb on this and get that.
Let's see.
Oh, she feels solid.
Well, she did feel solid. She did feel solid.
Okay, we got the welding helmet.
Okay, we survived.
Okay, let's try to tack this in place right where she goes, which I believe is right there. All right, now we got to weld the inside now, because once we put our cap on, we'll obviously no longer be able to get in there. It's a lot easier said than done. Now, it's not super pretty. I cleaned this as best I could. There's still little contaminants in it. So we got a little bit of holes and stuff going on through there, and I still got to grind that top part if I can, but this is about as good as she's gonna get. She is all capped off at the end. It's gonna be a lot stronger than that little tiny 1/8 inch of a sliver that was holding it on before. I'm honestly surprised it lasted as long as it did. Or who knows how long it was broken until things got really weird. So we just got one more side to do here, and then we gotta see if it fits. This is like, I hope I didn't just do all this for nothing and none of this fits and works and the geometry's off and something got tweaked just enough to where things bind and weird stuff happens. All right, so we've got this side pretty straight here. Oh, let's see if we can, might have made her a little tight. Alrighty, y'all, we are all capped, welded up as good as this is gonna get. Now is the moment of truth. This is gonna be a sketchy pain in the butt by myself to set this bed back on properly, but we just gotta go for it. We are flying solo right now, so here's to hoping for the best and nothing bad happens. I'm gonna put a couple of pieces of wood here just to keep this up off this ram. That way, if anything happens and it falls, it doesn't bend the hydraulic ram. I've connected it down below there because, well, it's easier to do now with the bed off. And then I think I'm gonna try to set it in place, and then it's not really gonna work by the ratchet strap, but maybe lower the rear on while keeping the front up. We're gonna see how this goes. didn't exactly go according to plan here. Really scared about breaking that back window. We don't want to do that because good luck ever finding one of those. So I think we're gonna call it good here. The truck's really easy to push back and forth, so I'll maneuver the truck versus maneuvering the bed. However, we are a little high. I should have tilted this a little bit further before I shut that off. And I'm a dummy and ran over this strap. So lowering this isn't gonna quite work like I was hoping. Okay, I got me an idea here. I'm gonna take some tension off with this jack and that 2x4. Should allow me to get this strap off. And then we can probably, that didn't feel good, restrap this and get us a better approach angle. I would lower that jack down and get this on, but unfortunately that's not enough height difference there to actually set it on the frame. I mean, we could go down right now. Let's see what happens. It's already been kind of sketchy doing this. Oh, no, you stay straight. Stay straight. You know, in any other circumstance, anytime you go to tie something down, the tie down always falls off. This one rehooked itself on the edge of the bed here. So she's kind of suspended right now. Oh, well, that's not good. Okay, we are completely strapless now. Easy girl, easy girl. So close. We had like 4 to 6 inches more of adjustment. This would have laid perfectly down on the bed. I should have cut that 2x4. We're gonna ease the truck back a little bit here. Kick this over. I wonder if it'll just fall into place. Oh, no, 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 fall the wrong way. All the wrong way. I mean, that's kind of down. You know, where there's a will, there's a way, guys. We're gonna get this here, which now it won't stay on. So, change of plans. She is perfectly lined up in between the frame rails there. So, I think the ticket here is gonna be back up a little bit, hopefully this stays. Set her down, re-pick it, and then try to slide it forward. It is a real good thing I put those pieces of wood there. Guys, we are getting really close. We are right there in line, so I'm going to try to drop the strap now. If it falls, but I think we are within range here. See if we can do this one-handed. There we go. How close are we? Oh, that is almost perfect on this side. That side's still a little tweaked. Hopefully that doesn't mean we have clearance issues. I'm going to use this piece of 3/8 rebar here to kind of hold this side in place. Oh, we're close. Okay, so I've got her pretty much lined up. We've got a piece of rebar over there. We've got a bolt that's a little bit too small in here, but I think this will pin this enough for me to slide the skip loader backwards. I got to get beyond here with the forks, obviously, so I can lower the front down or actually raise the front up. Maybe that'll work. Maybe I'll just raise this up, hook the hydraulic ram up. I am worried though, because I can already see that we are like touching right there, which this is what has to pivot up. Maybe it'll self-clearance itself, maybe not. I don't really know what's gonna happen there.
Okay, now the issue I'm having, aside from almost getting squished when I was up in the bed, is I can't get this hydraulic cylinder to compress. I don't know what the trick is. I opened up both sides, blended out, tried to push on it. Clearly I'm not strong enough. So now I've attached it to the top there. I'm gonna lower this down. Hopefully we don't pinch any hydraulic lines here. And then I'm gonna let the weight hopefully compress it enough, because right now it's too high. No matter how high I lift the bed, it's too long to get to that connection point. So hopefully by draining out some fluid and compressing it, shortening it, I can now sit there and like feather it into place. No, we might have destroyed that hydraulic cable right there. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, that hose is pretty rough, but it seems to still be in one shape there. But good news is we are now short enough that I can just hit it a couple times there to extend the ram, and hopefully we don't go too far and have to do this all over again. So we're gonna try and take it a little bit at a time here. Just a little tap. All right, just a hair more. Well, we nailed it. That thing slid in without any fight. So now we got to ease up tension on the board, get all this disconnected, and get the skip loader out here. It should be fine on its own now. Everything should be held in place. Minus the fact that we don't have the proper hardware for the hinge side. There we go, there we go. All right, let's back up a little bit here. Okay guys, well, she is standing on her own here. I'm a little nervous to lower this down. Now remember, we've got a little bit of play in the hardware here. We're just using a piece of 3/8 rebar over there and a bolt that's not long enough over here. So there might be some weird shifting when we come down, but let's see if this thing's actually gonna close and, well, fit. And hopefully that hydraulic line survives. All right, so far, so good. Getting close to the cab here. I see no hitting. And we are down. Woo! All right, we still gotta go up. All right, everything's working. So far, so good. Hopefully we got enough hydraulic fluid in there after we leaked a little bit out. Good news is, it seems like everything clearances. That side might rub just a little bit, but that's not the end of the world. Let's bring her on back down. I think we're looking pretty freaking good here. Like that closes way better than it used to. So I'm wondering how long that's been like stretching and doing weird stuff on the end there, ready to blow out. And it was enough off that this thing used to like kind of side shift as it sat down on the frame itself. It has been a lot of work getting this stupid little thing to this point, but I'm very happy that that worked. Now I got to clean up James's shop. And I've kind of made a little bit of a mess here. Get the truck backed up out of James's shop here. Try to not hit anything on our way out. We'll just kind of store it over here for a second until I can take the Bronco back and get a ride over here. And I gotta say, guys, I am very surprised that that went together as well as it did. Once we started diving into this thing, I was like, oh man, this is so much bigger of a headache than I had anticipated. I really hope this goes back together. There were a couple moments there I was not sure. So I got to give a huge thank you to James for letting me use his shop. I cannot wait till I have a shop at my own house. But until then, having James as a neighbor has been just freaking phenomenal. So again, thank you to James for letting me use this space. So with that, we are gonna wrap up. Glad to see the mini truck is back, other than we still need to figure out the engine issues. I'm not a mechanic, I don't wanna be a mechanic. If anybody is local and wants to figure that thing out for me, let me know, I will pay you, because I am at my wit's end with that freaking engine on that truck. In its current state though, I mean, it does run well enough for what I wanted it for, which is like taking all of my yard clippings and dumping them away from where the animals can get them. However, if we do have it
I would like to be able to throw some dirt in it, especially now that we beefed the crap up out of that dump bed. We shall see. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now. That way you do not miss out on any future content. And don't forget to subscribe to James's channel also. It's Get Muddy here on YouTube. You can see a lot of cool projects like that. And like that. And all the other stuff that he does over here on his ranch. Don't forget to give this video a like, a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforapparel.com because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.